Hey guys, David Patrick Green, davidpatrickgreen.com, hackhollywood.com, actorpower.com. So today, guys, I wanted to talk to you about an important topic. Not that all of the topics I talk about aren't important, but this is really sort of a thing that you need to hear if you actually want to be successful long-term and for real. It's not enough to just hear about tips and tricks and do a little of this and do a little of that. It all sounds, great. Send postcards, send this and that. The one thing that is going to separate you from everyone else, probably 99% of the actors on the planet and 99% of the people on the planet, is to be a professional. What does being a professional mean, you might ask, David Patrick Green? A little rhyme. So being a professional means that this is what you do. Okay, this is not something you think is cool. Like sometimes I get emails saying, oh, I'd really love to be on a Marvel movie like you, David. I'd really love to be on a TV show like Designated Survivor like you. So what they're saying is basically they like the idea of it because it sounds cool, right? And I think to some extent when I started out, I had a bit of that mentality. I think a lot of us do. It's tempting to think, how cool would it be if I was on TV, right? Like people would like me. People would think I'm cool. Maybe my life would be better. I would be recognized on the street. There's that celebrity desire we all secretly desire and maybe admire, which is a whole kerfuffle unto itself. Celebrity, may look great from the outside, but it's a completely different thing from the inside. So there's a big difference between wanting to do something and wanting a result. Okay, so when you want to do something, it means that thing is so important to you, you will do all the things you need to make it happen. When you want a result, it just means you want someone to give you something because you have an idea in your head about what that is going to mean to you. And unfortunately, it doesn't really matter what you think it's going to mean to you because it's never going to mean what you think, okay? Nothing that ever happens feels like the way we expect it because looking at something from the outside is completely different from being it on the inside. And we have, I'm sure, countless examples of this in our own lives when people say something like, oh, I thought you were like this. And you go, I'm not like that at all. Because we all make impressions and judgments based on what we see. And that doesn't necessarily reflect, well, in fact, it very rarely truly reflects what the person is in reality, because we are all so many different things, right? We have so many aspects to who we are, but from the outside, all we can see is what we see in a moment in time, in a little snapshot, right? That's what we see. And that's the difference between being a professional and being a hobbyist or an amateur, or maybe someone who wants to become famous for fame's sake. Or maybe they want it because, I know some guys that I used to ask them, why did you get into acting? And they go, for the girls and the money. And I kind of laugh and I'm kind of like, well, I guess if that motivates you, it will get you to do the work maybe, but is that really going to get you to be someone who is willing to go to their depths? I mean, if you just want to meet girls, does that mean you're willing to just tear your insides apart, which is really what being a great actor is about? It's about sort of examining and exposing every single nerve and fiber of your being so that you're available for whatever happens. Whereas if you're just doing it for a more superficial external result, you're probably not going to want to go through all that, right? Because the cost of going through all that is far greater than the reward. Even though the reward may seem cool, like if you're into girls and you want to meet them, I guess that seems like a great idea, but is that really what you want to dedicate your life to? And is that what the industry is going to see in you? Someone that is going to give it everything they've got to get this thing. And so are you going to be great to work with? Are you going to be flexible? And are you going to, again, be willing to expose who you are at so many levels, like to the millionth level in the bottom and the millionth level in the top of you, whatever that means. So being a professional means you do this every single day, no matter what, no matter how you feel. It's like a job, right? And that doesn't sound glamorous, but what job is glamorous? A job is something you do day in and day out, and your ambition, your desire, your vision of the future is what takes you further and further and makes you work harder and harder, or smarter and smarter, and makes you really want to develop your skills so that you can display your skills, so that you can experience life and experience your profession at a higher and higher and more fulfilling, deep level. So that's really why people aspire to greatness, because what they're doing this minute just isn't enough for them. They want to achieve higher levels. They want to do things. They want to impact the world more. And there's no way to skip the steps to get there. There's no one who can give it to you. You have to give it to yourself. You have to go get it. You have to train. You have to build the personal relationships. You have to learn how the business works and learn how to navigate all of the obstacles in the way. And you have to learn to fall down and skin your knees and stub your toes and get punched in the face a lot of times. And you also have to learn to love all that, because when you start to resent it, that's when you're pretty much doomed, right? If you resent and aren't doing this journey with something that fulfills you, even if it's actually wrong in the end, which is possible, you may get there and think you wanted it and you realize it's not what you thought it was. In fact, almost everything in life is that way. You see those people who collect Oscars and we think, oh my gosh, I would love to collect an Oscar. I really want one of those because, you know, it's going to mean so much to my life. And we think it's going to mean something to our lives, like it's going to change your life. But really it doesn't, because what got them there is this incredible work ethic and this incredible desire to write and to go deep and all of that stuff. You see some of the stories, they've researched projects for years, they wrote them for years. That doesn't come from wanting to have money or wanting to, you know, meet members of the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever sex you're interested in. So that doesn't really change their lives. They lived that life. That's why they got the award. Okay, the award doesn't make you who you are. Who you are makes you get the award. Okay, so being a true and tested professional who goes through the downs and the ups and the sideways and the, you know, and somehow balances that with a life of some sort, because if this is all you do, then I don't know. I think you need to do more than just this life, because you have to have experiences to draw from to make you who you are. Like the fact that I've traveled a lot and I've worked a lot of different jobs means I've met a lot of different types of people, and I guess I have a certain amount of experience that I can bring to the table. But we all have this innate human ability as well, but you know, just doing one thing turns you almost into what they call a savant. They used to call it an idiot savant because you couldn't do anything except one thing, but it's one of these people who can only do one thing incredibly well, but they're kind of socially inept, hopeless with other things, you know, sort of the absent-minded professor, because they're so focused on what they do, but they're useless in so many other social settings. And, you know, if you got into a jam with them, they would just be like, I don't know, I only know physics. I don't know how to, you know, get out of an elevator. I don't know how to talk my way out of a mugging. You know, I don't know how to charm a waitress to get a little extra chicken on my salad for free. That's the kind of stuff I do all the time. You know how much free chicken I've gotten on my salads over the years? I can go to a restaurant right now and get some free stuff because it's just about being nice and letting people know that you think they're important by treating them like humans. See, a lot of people who are singularly focused don't have that ability. So everybody has their pluses and their minuses, but to be a professional, you've got to just go for it and do it and put your head down and do the work. But not things that you think are going to get you shortcuts, not, you know, coming up with, you know, a bunch of fancy things that you think somehow changes you. That doesn't work. It's to do the work and then be willing to tell people that you have skills and that you're ready to demonstrate those skills. So if you notice that in most industries, the real professionals who really do well, they develop relationships along the way from doing really good work, and people appreciate their work. Even if it's at a low level, then they get them to do it at a higher level. And it just keeps going and going and going, and they get talked up. People talk about them. Oh, so-and-so's really amazing. They're a real professional. I want to work with them. You should work with them because I know that me introducing you to this person is going to help your life. And that's really what being a professional is. It's not trying to convince people you're something by sending them a postcard or sending them a picture of yourself. I mean, what job on earth, other than acting, do we think sending a picture of of ourselves to somebody is going to make them think something about us? Because how much information can you actually get across in a picture, right? Not much. So think about what it really takes to be a professional. And if you do that, I can almost guarantee you're going to find success. You are going to climb the ranks. Whether you get where you actually think you want to go, I don't know. But I know you're going to get somewhere, and it's going to be great, and you're going to have a great, amazing journey. One of my coaching clients I just spoke to yesterday, and I don't even coach him anymore. I'm sure he's going to be calling me soon to get to the next level. But he just got himself into a production company, and he's getting to see how this whole business works, and he's talking on a daily basis to a major producer, and when he sees something he thinks he's right for, if he wants to audition for a part, he just calls the casting director and they just put him into the interview lineup. It's that simple. It's that simple because they believe that he is a professional because he's doing the professional work, and he's doing things he doesn't necessarily want to do. You know, he's reading a bunch of scripts. He's writing coverage on those scripts. You know, he's just doing what he's told, but when he's asked to do something, he does the best he possibly can, and they are seeing that he is somebody that they should have around, and so they're going to keep rewarding him with greater and greater responsibilities, which makes him a more complete and interesting person, which actually helps his acting. So the more you dive deep into your acting career, the more it actually makes you a better person and a better actor, okay? So that's really what being a professional is, and that is the one single thing that will separate you from everyone else. Even if you don't know exactly what to do, just start doing professional things and get involved with other professionals, and you will see what to do. You will see what works and what doesn't work, right? You have to see what the professional world looks like. That's why it's so important to get involved with the professionals who are working at the highest levels. Because even if you are working at the lowest level in the highest professional environment, you will see what it takes to get to where you want to go. Whereas if you surround yourself with amateurs and small-time people, then you'll never really see what the professionals do. I mean, maybe they'll get to the professional level, but that's because they understand what it takes to be a professional. So I highly recommend you decide right now you're going to be a professional, and you will have an amazing life. I really believe that. You may not be a superstar actor, but if you think being a superstar actor is what you want to do, it's really more of an idea than knowing what it actually is to do it. You may find that something else really gets you excited. You may end up becoming a producer or a director or a location scout. There's so many things you could end up doing if you get involved with the true professionals in your industry. So be a professional, guys. Don't be an amateur. Don't look for shortcuts. Don't think that somebody else can tell you what to do or how to do it. You got to get your feet wet, okay? If you wanted to be a, what would I say? Well, for instance, one of the big agencies, they start everyone in the mailroom. Now, you don't want to work in the mailroom, but you've got to see how the organization works. And you've got to work your way up. You can't just start at the high levels because you don't know how everything works, right? You've got to know. You could go to another agency and start in their mailroom, and maybe they'll, another agency will poach you. But somewhere, somehow, you got to start at the bottom and you just work your way up. And you should be happy about it because if you do start your way at the bottom, start at the bottom, and you give it all you've got, they're going to recognize that and you're going to move up. And trust me, you can move up very quickly. Like I was saying, my client, he has been with this production company for just over a month, and the things that are happening already, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. He's actually doing better than I did because I didn't know what I know now when I was starting out. So now I teach the people to do what I did, but I teach them the intent to do it with and how to make a really strong impression and how it's going to be so positive for them. I didn't know how well it would work out. It did work out well, but now I know, okay? So be a professional, start at the bottom, work your way up, develop relationships, help out whenever and however you can, and people will recognize that and give it back to you. Then they will try to help you. Okay, that's what professionals do. They behave professionally. I hope this was helpful, guys. I went way longer than I thought I would, but once I get going, I just can't stop. So yeah, if you liked this, then like it, and please share it and do all that good social media stuff. Put it on, put the link onto Twitter. Put it onto your Facebook page. Put it on Instagram if this was meaningful to you, because helping others is really what is going to help you in the end. Be good to your community and be good to your profession, and it will be good to you in return. It's been very good to me. In the words of Garrett Morris from Saturday Night Live, baseball been very, very good to me. Okay? That's it for now, guys. So subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you soon.